But I heard from a little birdie that Ken and Gypsy aren't following each other anymore on social media platforms. Grace brought this to my attention and I didn't think about it. What if that "you'd have to be crazy not to take me back" is meant for Ken? I haven't heard anyone talk about that.
Just checking. I just want to make sure Ken is good, after his woman is sitting here running amok all over TikTok, bringing out Candy and Ruby and Demona and acting all messy and being what is she, 7, 8 months pregnant now with a baby, acting all like, oh-ish? Just saying. Not really thinking about the embarrassment it's going to cause her man.
I mean, it's plausible. I mean, if they are really hitting bumpy roads right now, it's definitely plausible. Also, like if they were fighting or something, I mean, I can see that happening.
I do think that Ken will eventually grow old of it. And, when mood swings comes along and she's not able to control it, and if she starts feeling like he's leaving, whenever it's a threat, and then that's when we can kind of start getting into like, what is she capable of? If things don't go her way, what is she exactly capable of?
Let's get into this, folks, because Gypsy Rose and Ken Urker's relationship has been on what seems like a perpetual roller coaster. And if we're being honest, things aren't looking too good right now. Their on again, off again saga has reached another low point, and it seems like Ken has heard enough. His silence in the face of all the recent drama is deafening. Gypsy, on the other hand, has been busy addressing rumors, clapping back at critics, and, let's be real, starring the port. Between questionable paternity tests, unresolved feelings for her ex, and awkward public moments, this situation has layers.
But here you are talking about people would be crazy not to take you back. Oh, she's so cute. People were crazy to take her in the first place. I'm just saying. People were a little off to go shopping in prison for a wife. So they'd be extra special if they took you back. I'm just saying, there's that.
So let's break it all down. No detail left out. No speculation ignored, and no stone unturned. First up, let's talk about the paternity test that Gypsy shared online. Now, if you've been following this story, you know this test was supposed to settle everything. It was meant to confirm that Ken is, without a doubt, the father of Gypsy's baby. And sure, the results seemed clear enough, a 99.9% probability that Ken is the father, but leave it to the internet to dissect every single detail and find reasons to doubt. The document Gypsy shared did not match the sample format shown on the DDC website. That's the DNA Diagnostic Center, by the way, which is the company that supposedly announced the results. However, the tests weren't actually conducted by DDC. They were done by Fastest Labs, a company based in Louisiana.
Gypsy has been confirmed as being part of a person who completes medical fraud. Do you think we should believe her paternity results? And the court should mandate one through the court system and not allow her to submit her do-at-home, privately paid-for, funded DNA test. I mean, God help Brian, the baby isn't his, because that'll save that man some grace and let him move on. And Gypsy and Ken, they just a hot mess anyway.
Gypsy even went as far as sharing an email from Fastest Labs to prove the test's authenticity, complete with the company's email address. But here's where things get messy. A lot of people were not buying it. They pointed out discrepancies in the document's format, questioned why the test wasn't conducted by a more recognized lab, and some even suggested that the whole thing might be fake. And while none of this necessarily proves anything, you can imagine how it might feel if you were in Ken's shoes. If you already had doubts about the situation, seeing the internet explode with rumors about forged documents and fake test results couldn't have helped him.
Yep, I'm gonna need you to tell the truth. Is it mine and Ryan's or not? Who's gonna answer this? We're gonna throw a damn party? We were gonna have birthday cake and everything? I knew No Job Ken was really not convinced because you know what? Don't tell me that baby's man's. It's real fine. It is real fine. If the baby's ours, That's fine too, okay? We weren't ready. We're still not ready. We don't know which way to just go and go because really all up in the air at this point.
In fact, Ken's reaction or lack thereof may be the most telling part of this whole mess. Since Gypsy posted those results, Ken has gone completely silent. No live videos, no Instagram posts, no statements addressing the rumors, nothing. And sometimes silence says more than words ever could. Now let's shift gears and talk about Bryan, Gypsy's ex, and apparently a key figure in all of this. Even though Gypsy is supposed to be fully focused on her relationship with Ken, she just can't seem to let Ryan go. And honestly, this may be one of the biggest red flags in her relationship with Ken. How do you move forward with someone new when you're still hung up on your ex?
Ryan don't want you back, baby. He ain't want you back, sweetheart. Really ain't all that in a bag of chips. And you're just mad that Ryan accidentally ended up with a psychopath like you, and then now he sees what the real world is fun and full of life that you sucked out from him. The hell no. You have no job, Ken. Don't be mad that your old 10-foot pole has a jab and he don't want you back.
Gypsy recently made a live video calling out Ryan for disrespecting her and her baby. According to her, Ryan was being petty by posting videos of himself dancing with other women. But here's the thing. From an outsider's perspective, Ryan did not seem to be doing anything out of the ordinary. He was just living his life. Still, Gypsy found a way to make it about her, which probably did not sit well with Ken.
For me, it's kind of like, don't sit there and then constantly be like, she's my wife, I can talk about her all I want. She's my wife, she's my wife, she's my wife. Well, looking at that video, that's my husband. That's my husband. My husband. We're still married. He's still married. I'm still married. What I'm saying is 2 wrongs don't make a right. So, with that being said, this is the last time I'm talking about him on social media.
Things took an even stranger turn when Gypsy deleted a video where she seemed to mimic Ryan's voice saying, "Oscar, I know I was a bad girl, but you'd have to be crazy not to take me back." Yikes. If Ken saw that or even heard about it, you can only imagine how he felt. One thing to have unresolved feelings for an ex, but it's another thing entirely to make those feelings public in a way that's so blatantly disrespectful to your current partner. And let's not forget, this isn't the first time Gypsy's behavior has raised eyebrows. Her obsession with Ryan has been a recurring theme in her relationship with Ken, and it is hard not to wonder if Ken has finally had enough.
Yes, Gypsy really doesn't think about anybody but herself, so there's that. But yeah, just wanted to check, make sure he was all good, because again, most men would be embarrassed if their woman was running all over social media, acting a fool. And with her history with all of these role-playing characters and her history with, well, you know her history. Yeah. Sorry, Ken. Just saying.
Now let's talk about their public appearances, because if you are hoping to find signs of a happy, healthy relationship there, you're out of luck. Remember when Gypsy and Ken were spotted at Universal Studios Hollywood? What should have been a fun romantic outing ended up looking more like 2 people who barely tolerate each other. Ken seemed emotionally checked out, and the whole thing felt, well, staged. And unfortunately, this isn't an isolated incident. Take their trip to San Francisco, for example. Gypsy was there to speak about prison reform at a university, and you'd think Ken would be there to support her. But instead of walking beside her or showing any sign of affection, he reportedly walked so far ahead that people mistook him for the security guard. Others even thought he may be her brother. Let that sink in for a moment. When people can't even tell that you're a couple, that's not a good sign.
She was here. The whole town is talking about it. And get this. Apparently, normal people who are not chronically online don't know about her. So they don't know who Ken is. And so the valet people and the people that work at where she was staying literally thought Ken was was her security guard. He was walking so far ahead of her. Even people who don't know anything about her were like, there was no chemistry, there was no affection, there was nothing. One person I talked to even thought he was her brother. Now that's embarrassing.
And if that wasn't enough, things got even more awkward at the airport when Gypsy decided to go live on Instagram. Ken looked visibly annoyed, even lashing out at Gypsy for arriving at the airport too early. During a TMZ interview at the same airport, Ken literally turned his back to the camera, as if to say, I want no part of this. And then there is the infamous Nick Vial podcast appearance. During their interview, Gypsy repeatedly said she did not want Ken to feel stuck or obligated to marry her because of the pregnancy. While that might sound considerate on the surface, it also raises a lot of questions. Why would she feel the need to say that unless Ken had already expressed those feelings? It's almost as if she was trying to guilt him into staying, knowing that the public would side with her if he left.
I can tell you from personal experience, if it's not there from the start, it's never going to be there. At least that's how it was for me. So it is something that you do have to prioritize your own happiness. Regardless, y'all can still co-parent and be good parents at that. But to try and make yourself happy with someone that you're not in love with in that way, I did not realize how much attraction matters in a relationship.
Shortly after that, the two went live to debunk separation rumors. But the very next day, TMZ broke the news that they were getting a paternity test. Coincidence? Probably not. Here's the harsh truth. Ken has been waving red flags for a while now, and it seems like he's been checked out of the relationship for a long time. The only thing keeping him around may be the pregnancy, but even that might not be enough to hold things together, especially with Gypsy's latest antics. From obsessing over Ryan to constantly fueling the rumored meal, she's making it hard and harder for Ken to stay. And honestly, who could blame him if he decided to walk away? So where does that leave us? At this point, it feels like their relationship is hanging by a thread. Ken's silence speaks volumes, and Gypsy's attempts to control the narrative aren't doing her any favors. Whether or not they'll find a way to work through all of this drama remains to be seen. But one thing's for sure, the internet will be watching every step of the way. So what do you think? Is this the beginning of the end for Gypsy and Ken? Or do you think there's still hope for them to turn things around? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and as always, do not forget to like and subscribe for more updates. Peace out.